In the previous session, we discussed how to convert the Cartesian coordinate, polar coordinate, and we determined the Schrodinger wave equation for simple system like hydrogen. Now, Cartesian coordinate is very important to be converted into its polar coordinate, because we see the Cartesian coordinate, it is the XYZ axis, and when we convert it into polar coordinate, it is converted into its radial functions with angular functions. So if we determine the coordinate, the information we can have the different structure, atomic orbitals, and accordingly the energy. Now this is how we determine our Cartesian coordinate in the previous class. I'm just revising it, proceeding to the next topic. So this is how, let's come to the final. So by just converting by using trigonometric function, we can convert this Cartesian coordinate to polar coordinate, where the x is equals to r sin theta cos phi, y equals to r sin theta sin phi, and z equals to r cos theta. So basically, in this way, we can convert the Cartesian coordinate to the polar coordinate. Cartesian coordinate means this is x, y, and z, and polar coordinate, where we can see here the radius, that is r, distance of particle with the nucleus, 10 theta and phi. These are the angles. So when we convert this to the polar coordinate are much closer information to the atomic system. So the polar coordinate we get in the previous class, and then accordingly the Schrodinger wave equation. So this is the simple Schrodinger wave equation, but in terms of the polar coordinate. If we see here, there is no any Cartesian coordinate. There is r, then theta, and then the phi value. So in this way, the polar coordinates we obtained in the previous class. Now if we elaborate this polar coordinate with respect to its simplification, we can have major information related to its radial function and its angular function. What is the meaning of radial function? Radial function depends on the radius. It is the distance of particle with the nucleus. This is from 0 to the infinity. Means by knowing the radial function, we can determine the size of that atom, because it is the maximum distance of that electron from the nucleus. And it again goes on to next important property, that is the principal quantum number. Means if we know the radial wave function, okay, if we know the radial wave function, we can have the information of principal quantum number, that is n. Similarly, if we determine the angular equation for this equation, Schrodinger equation, we can have the information for theta and phi, which is nothing but giving us help to know the next principal quantum number, that is L, that is azimuthal quantum number, and M, that is magnetic quantum number. So these are the significance of the determining the Schrodinger wave equation in polar coordinate. And if we could separate the equation in terms of the radial and in terms of the angular, we can have more information about our next property, which is very principal property, quantum number. So let's elaborate to determine the separate wave function for this Schrodinger equation. Now wave equation, if you have to determine for this hydrogen, this is the polar coordinate equation for the Schrodinger wave equation that we determined in the previous session. Here all these Cartesian coordinates are converted into polar coordinate. Polar coordinate means the radial function r related to the radius and theta and phi. This theta and phi. Theta and phi are the angular functions. Now let's separate this variable, because if we see the equation, there is a combination of things in this equation. Means here we can see here the radial as well as angular functions are taken together. Here radial and angular functions are taken together. So it becomes very important to separate this variable to have individual equation for the radial equation, similarly for the angular. Okay, so this is the equation, the pictorial representation. R is the radial distance. This mu is nothing but the reduced mass of the electron. We already discussed in the previous session why reduced mass is taken. Then this is the angle. This is the axial angle theta. This particle is having some angle with the axis, that is theta. It is also considered as a principal angle, zenith angle. And if we determine the other angle for this plane xy with the z, it will be zenith azimuthal angle. Now, so this is the simple representation. Now we have to determine the equation in forms of the radial and equation in forms of the angular. Now if we see the equation, it is the combination of all three, r, theta and phi. Now we have to consider this equation as a combination of three functions: function with respect to r, function with respect to theta, function with respect to phi. R of r, theta of theta and phi of phi. And this is the equation. Now if psi is function of r, theta and phi, we separate this equation with respect to its various equation. Why the psi determined basically the equation is directly obtained. Psi is a wave function which is has relation with three variable. Psi varies with the r, that is radial, varies with theta, that is angular, zenith angle, and psi also varies with the phi, that is azimuthal angle. Now if we determine this function by considering the psi, it will have the differential equation which separates into three. Now I have taken it directly, because if we determine its stepwise determination separately for the radial as well as for the angular, it will be out of the scope for this BSc syllabus. And in the syllabus they have directly taken write the wave equation in terms of radial as well as for the angular. But for the simplicity I am giving the stepwise how to determine it. Okay, we have to understand the steps, then we could write or remember it easily. So if we separate the variable of psi in terms of r, theta and phi, we can have three equation. Equation number 3, if we see the function r, it depends on r. All the parameter means the function, if we separate this, equation number 3 gives information which is obtained by solving the r equation. Similarly, if we solve equation, we will have for theta, this is equation number 4, this one is for theta, and last one for the phi. I am repeating here what we have done. We consider the Schrodinger equation for the polar coordinate as a psi, and psi depends on three variables. First variable is r, second variable is theta, and third variable is phi. And we have to separate this variable, okay, because all variable will have different information. For this separation, we determined it by separation of variable method, and we obtained these three equation. These three equations are obtained directly and put it down, because solution or getting this equation will be is out of scopes, and it is correctly put forward in the syllabus that we have to take the equation directly. Now equation number 3 is the radial equation where r is there, whereas remaining two, that is 4 and 5, are the angular equation where theta and phi are there. Now this m and b are the constant. Basically this m and b gives very important information. This b gives azimuthal quantum number, whereas m gives the magnetic quantum number. Now if we determine the separate equation, the psi equation gives to be this one, n e minus rho by 2 rho l, l 2l plus 1 n plus 1 rho. Now this l, is very important. This is azimuthal quantum number, and this is obtained by solving the beta that we already learned in the previous slide. This is obtained by normalizing the 3, and this normalization factor found to be this one. Now this normalization factor is obtained by the quantum mechanical operator. So first solution and then normalization factor. This is the p variable, this is the p variable rho. Rho will depend on r, having the relation 2z divided by nar. So you can see here this rho depends on r and it is variable. Now if we determine this n and l, basically this is the Lagrange polymer, and this equation, this Lagrange polymer is helpful to determine the spherical coordinate where angles are involved. That's why L is determined by using this one. It is determined by considering the spherical coordinate, means angular part, and we can have the value of L by determining the Lagrange polymer. Now we have all the separate polymer, and if we put all these things in equation, we can have the final radial equation for the hydrogen. Okay, now equation number 7 is the direct equation for the radial wave function for the hydrogen. Now this equation, as per the syllabus, we can write directly, but we have taken the steps. First we consider the wave function as a combination of radial and angular. Then its solution is determined by using some quantum mechanical operator which is out of this scope, and it is normalized thing, wave equation and the rho. When we put together, we have the radial wave equation, this one. Now this is easy to remember. How it is easy to remember? This is the first, that is normalization factor that we determine. Then this is the rho, that depends on the r, and this is the Lagrange polymer. This is the final equation of the radial wave function for hydrogen, radial wave equation for the hydrogen. It is important because by knowing the radial wave equation, we can determine the exact size of the hydrogen atom, as well as the azimuthal quantum number L, that we can clearly see here 2l plus 1 n plus 1. L is a azimuthal quantum number and n is a principal quantum number. So here the equation that we see, that we solve, is the radial wave equation for the hydrogen. Now next one is the angular wave equation for the hydrogen. Now why hydrogen equation for the radial is separated and the angular separated? It is simple, because the radial wave equation, which depends on r, that is radius or the distance of particle with the nucleus, it will have a dimension from 0 to infinity. Okay, but for the angular it will have a limited, a finite limit, that is 0 to 360. So to make it simpler, they are separated for this analysis. So and radial wave equation is determined first and then angular wave equation. Now the angular wave function are taken together as the product of theta and phi of phi. This is the angular wave equation. Now this is the combination. Now if we can solve equation number 4 and 5 that we already taken in the previous, then we have the equation that phi m, theta m is equals to 1 by 2 pi e I m phi. Now this is obtained by taking the quantum mechanical operator to get this equation. Now this is important. This is m. We obtained m here. This m is nothing but our important quantum number, that is magnetic quantum number. So when we solve the theta equation, that is equation number 4, we can have the equation solution as theta m equals to 1 by 2 root of 2 pi e I m and phi. This is complex. Now next one, it is equation number 5. When we solve, since it is the combination, we will have the, that is L and M. We can see here we have the solution as 2L plus 1 L minus factorial m, then 2L plus m, and this cos of angular motion. Now this is determined by the associated Lagrange polymer. Associated word, simple, because we are considering the two angles simultaneously. We have to determine it by the polymer, that is associated Lagrange polymer. This is the final equation. This is the final equation of the angular wave equation. We can easily see here these two terms are nothing but the product of these two. Okay, these two are the nothing but product of these two. So this is how we can remember, like this. So this is the angular wave equation for this hydrogen. I am repeating here for practicing. You just have to remember the equation. Don't enter in solving, because the undergraduate level university prescribes that you can directly put the equation, but for the simplification we have determined how it goes up to the final equation. Okay, so this is the angular wave equation. Last topic of the day, that is hydrogen. This is given directly. That energy can be determined by this equation, where Z is the atomic number, that is nuclear charge, mu is the reduced mass, E is the charge on electron, N is the principal quantum number, and H is the Planck's constant. So here we conclude the conversion of the polar coordinate Schrodinger wave equation for the hydrogen for 3 different things. First equation for the radial wave function, second one for the angular wave function, and third one is the energy function. So in the next section we will discuss quantum number. So before ending this session, I will revise it in a simple language, how to remember or how to attempt this question. So according to the Nagpur University syllabus, they ask the equation for the radial wave function for hydrogen atom we have to consider this equation directly, but we can solve it. First, the Schrodinger wave equation psi is taken as the combined function of r, theta, theta, and theta, phi, phi. When we separate this function in three different forms, we can have angular wave function and the radial wave function. For the angular wave function, we have to consider both angles, that is theta and phi, whereas radial wave function is determined separately. Radial wave function, when we determine, it gives information about n, l, l. N is a principal quantum number and L is a azimuthal quantum number. Whereas when we determine angular equation, it gives both, that is n, l and m. L again azimuthal quantum number and m is the magnetic quantum number. Then last one is energy. Energy is separated, is determined separately by taking this equation. So in the next session, we will discuss the quantum number. So how quantum numbers are determined quantum mechanically, what is the importance and how it is related to its property of electron in an atom. It is very important, because if we know the quantum number correctly, we can determine its energy, we can determine its radius, we can determine its angular motion, angular momentum, and related property. So in the next session, we will discuss quantum number. This is the today's session, and next session will be on Saturday. So see you in the next session. Like in the previous session, you register for today's session, you have to register again for the next section. So I am signing off here. If you have any doubt or any query about today's session, you can WhatsApp me on my number, which is shown on the screen, or you can mail me on this email ID. For this now, I am signing off. Take care, stay home. Thank you so much for patient listening. Thank you so much.